You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up and know right away your day's about to go sideways? That was me the day I looked out my kitchen window and saw Lorraine. Yeah, that Lorraine standing in my garden with a sledgehammer swinging away like she was tearing down the Berlin Wall. She was screaming about how I had no right to put up a fence, how I was stealing the neighborhood's heritage trail. And let me tell you, when the self-appointed HOA queen of Greenhaven goes full Godzilla, you pay attention whether you want to or not. See, I'd poured every dime I had 10 years as a landscape engineer living frugal in Portland into 5 acres here in Oregon. My dream was simple: build a little slice of Pacific Northwest heaven, restore the forest, and just breathe. I should have known it wasn't going to be that simple, not with Lorraine Baxter lurking next door. This lady, former real estate agent owner of the biggest house on the block, had spent 15 years terrorizing the neighborhood, acting like her property line extended as far as her mood that day. I'd barely moved in when I spotted her for the first time marching through my woods with 6 community members, dropping candy wrappers, talking loud, leaving muddy footprints on the bank of my little creek. So I jogged over, survey in hand, hoping I could clear things up with a polite, "Hey, just so you know, this is actually private property." Lorraine's eyes went cold behind her smile. "Oh, you must be the new guy. Well, we've been walking this trail for 15 years. It's practically a landmark." The way she said it, you'd think I'd tried to bulldoze the Lincoln Memorial. When I showed her the trampled trilliums and explained about the rare plants, she just laughed, told me I couldn't block the community's access. Then she dropped the bomb. "The HOA will have something to say about this. You know, the kind of threat that sounds sweet but you know is pure poison." That night, still eating takeout on moving boxes, I called my buddy Jake. He's a lawyer, real straight shooter. "Nathan, unless your deed says there's an easement, you can fence it off. The HOA can't just make up rules. It should have been reassuring, but you know how sometimes, even when you're right, you just know. It's about to get ugly." Sure enough, next morning, Clara, single mom teacher and the one person in the neighborhood with her head screwed on straight, shows up with coffee and a warning. "She got me fined for keeping chickens," Clara says, shaking her head. Lorraine's not just about walking paths. She's about control. Watch your back. By noon, the local Facebook page is blowing up. "New resident destroys historic trail." They painted me as some outsider, a city jerk with no respect for nature, which is hilarious if you knew how much sweat I'd poured into making this place more natural. But when I hammered in my no trespassing sign, just a plain polite one, I knew the line was drawn. This was my hill to die on. I didn't sleep much that night. Around dawn, I hear voices look out, and my sign's been turned into a crime scene spray paint screaming "tree killer" in dripping red, and a whole peanut gallery of neighbors gawking while Lorraine gives them the tour like she's running a museum. I storm out, ask if she did it, and she goes full melodrama. "Nathan, I'm shocked. You'd even suggest that, right? 15 people all filming on their phones, clearly hoping for a viral meltdown. Then comes the HOA meeting, fluorescent lights buzzing, stale carpet-folding chairs filled with folks ready for a show. Lorraine stands up and does her usual act. Paints me as the bad guy, says I'm intimidating. Residents accuses me of threatening Greenhaven's cooperation and mutual respect. When it's my turn, I lay out the survey, my credentials, and my case for conservation. The room's divided, some folks soften, but Lorraine's crew is arms crossed, jaws set. That's when Walt Grayson Oldtimer pipes up. Funny how Lorraine cares about trees now. She clear-cut 5 acres for her McMansion 15 years ago. The place goes dead silent. Lorraine stammers some excuse, but people are looking at her different now. Walt winks at me. I start to think maybe I'm not alone in this after all. Driving home, I find a $500 fine on my windshield unauthorized signage. I just laughed. Petty but predictable. So I doubled down, ordered a proper cedar fence, totally legal, and paid a contractor to help me build it. 2 weeks later, I wake up to news vans, cameras, and Lorraine giving interviews about environmental destruction and outside threats to community values. You'd think I was building a Walmart. So I did something I never thought I'd do. Grabbed my phone, went live, and showed the world what was really happening. trashed plants, eroded trails, candy wrappers everywhere. By sundown, my little nature documentary had racked up thousands of views and messages of support folks from all over, tired of HOA bullies rooting for the underdog. That night, Clara brings a bottle of wine and bigger news. The Portland Native Plant Society saw your video. They want to survey your land. If you've got rare species, it could change everything. We sat on the porch watching deer drift through the dusk, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like maybe, just maybe, things could turn out okay. But Lorraine wasn't done. 3 days later, a certified letter lands on my doorstep. Law firm, big threats, legalese for miles. She accused me of everything from harassment to environmental destruction. Turns out her lawyer is her old divorce attorney. I spent that night installing real security cameras and researching every name on the letterhead. This wasn't just about a path. It was about power. Next morning, reviewing footage, I spot Lorraine's son Dylan sneaking onto my land in the middle of the night, planting a shiny new "Do Not Disturb Rare Species" sign by the trilliums I'd shown in my video. By noon, a county inspector shows up, anonymous complaint, environmental damage. But when I show her the security video of Dylan's little midnight gardening session, she raises an eyebrow and laughs. Never seen someone document their own innocence so well. You're clear, Nathan. Felt pretty good. But here's where it gets wild. Walt comes by, drops off a stack of old permits and property surveys. Turns out the trail Lorraine's been championing. Her ex-husband bulldozed it for logging. It was never a heritage path, just an old access road turned neighborhood shortcut. And icing on the cake, when Lorraine got the house in the divorce, she signed away any right to the trail. I start to realize she's been bluffing from day one. I couldn't resist. Faked a news interview right on my porch. Clara asked questions. I answered, talking about the history of the trail, the real environmental damage, how sometimes people bend the truth to hold on to power. I made sure Lorraine could overhear. Next day, I get hit with a barrage of county inspections, fire marshal, health department, you name it. But when 3 agencies show up at once and find nothing, they start to see a pattern with Lorraine's fingerprints all over it. The twist. Dylan posts a vlog, forgot to make it private, about helping his mom fight the neighbor, complete with his own confession to planting evidence. Over 50 people download it before he yanks it offline, including Clara, who forwards me the link. At this point, Lorraine's strategy is unraveling fast. Then Walt shows up with the Holy Grail, a map from 1886 proving the trail was always private. He also brings the original divorce settlement signed by Lorraine, where she gives up all easement rights. By the time the next HOA meeting rolls around, I'm armed with so much evidence I feel like Matlock. The meeting is standing room only. Lorraine tries her usual routine, even waves around what she claims is a new county document granting a public easement. But Sophia Patel, a board member and CPA with an eye for detail, spots the forgeries, altered dates, missing signatures. I play Dylan's confession on the big screen, and suddenly the whole room gets real quiet. Lorraine's empire crumbles in real time. Folks start standing up, Clara, Walt, even families Lorraine's bullied over the years, and share their stories. The vote isn't even close. I keep my property rights. Lorraine is censured and her forged documents get turned over to the county. As people file out, Lorraine's loading boxes into her car, moving in with her sister in Portland. Dylan shakes my hand. "Thanks for not calling the cops on me," he says, looking lighter than I've ever seen him. Turns out sometimes a little sunlight really is the best disinfectant. 6 months down the road, my land is thriving. The fence is gone. County recognized it as protected habitat, not just private property. The trail runs along the legal easement now with new signs and better routes for wildlife. Sophia leads an environmental committee. Clara runs a community garden, and Walt gives history talks to local school kids. Lorraine's old house, sold to a young family who actually likes hiking for the right reasons. Looking back, I realized this whole mess wasn't really about a trail or a fence or even an HOA. It was about standing up to people who think they can bend the rules, about letting a community find its voice, and about protecting the places and people that matter. Yeah, it took some bruises and late nights, but in the end I wouldn't trade it for anything. Sometimes you gotta fight for your little corner of the world, especially when the bullies have been running things for too long. So what do you think? Where's the line between community and control? Ever dealt with a Lorraine in your neighborhood? Let's hear your stories down below. Maybe, just maybe, we can turn a little HOA drama into something that actually brings people together.